This Kaizo Mario 64 hack has the coolest stars, and I'm going to show you some of them today. The game I will be talking about is Super Mario Senseless Delirium, created by Redmat. It is a Kaizo hack, which is a modification of a game made to be harder and push a player's skills and patience to their limits. SM64 has been getting Kaizo hacks for a long time. This means there are a lot of different takes on how to make the game harder by many different people. A thing a lot of them have in common is they are long. Very, very long. Kaizo hacks are known for having huge levels with tons of red coins to collect and tons of stars to collect. This is mostly how Kaizos are done now, but Redmat has broken the mold with Senseless Delirium, and it's amazing. He has put very hard and cool challenges into relatively short stars. And these stars are some of the most fun and innovative stars to collect in Mario 64, which is exactly what I want to show you today. Insane stars and how and why they work. I'm going to start out talking about my favorite course, Glitch Factory, and as the name suggests, it has some pretty glitchy Mario 64 mechanics in it. And to get it started, we'll also start out with my favorite star of the game, Hyper Koopa. This star starts out as most classic Kaizo stars do. We have to do some relatively difficult wall kicks and what's called a crossover from one wall kick section to the next and end with an arc above the ceiling to get up. We get the shell and jump over to this convenient wall, which when we hit correctly, will push us underwater with the shell, causing a glitch known as Shell Mario. Typically, with the shell, all you can do is jump. If you try to do anything else, Mario will either just move left and right, or the shell will break when you press Z or hit a wall. With Shell Mario, Mario has the continued forward momentum of the shell and is still able to do some Mario mechanics, such as side flip, double jump, triple jump, and you can even wall kick. However, if we stand up and move the joystick, we will be left just riding the shell normally, which we definitely do not want to do for the star, but to get around this, we can crouch and control how Mario moves. So when we first get the shell, we ground pound so the continued momentum will take us to the first platform. We can then crouch like I said, and turn Mario around this corner without triggering Mario riding the shell normally. We then double jump and start wall kicking. Luckily, since we have all the speed of the shell, we can make it between these enormous gaps, which would normally be impossible. We ground pound to keep Mario in the air for a little extra distance to make it to the last section. Finally, we crouch again for control and navigation, backflip to stay in the air a little longer while the momentum pushes us forwards, and finally ground pound to get even more extra distance. This gets us onto the platform with a star on it, and we can finally collect it. This star is one of the most fun stars I've ever done in Mario 64 and relies on a mechanic you rarely see used at all across all of Mario 64 and its ROM hacks, so it's a great start to show you guys how much I do love this hack. The next stars we will be talking about all involve everybody's favorite inappropriate grabber, the Chucky. The first star we'll be talking about is a star called Chucky Clip. First, we set up the key component of the star, which is a glitch known as Light Chucky. Pannenkoek has a nice video on it that I'll link in the description, but I'll try to explain it a little bit here. Normally, when you have a Chucky in your hands, it is treated as a heavy object, meaning all Mario can do is walk around slowly with the object or throw it around. But if you grab it underwater, there's just a single swimming grab state, which is grabbing a light object, which keeps this property even when we jump out of water. It is possible to perform a light Chucky glitch in other ways, such as doing a very precise grab while Mario is falling off the edge of a platform, but this is the easiest way possible. And with it, it basically lets us hold a Chucky and jump like we could with Mips or everyone's favorite little penguin, Tuxie. With the light Chucky, we walk around avoiding the flames to go to a nice wall set up for us to do a glitch known as the hands-free glitch, in which Mario doesn't hold the object anymore, but the game still thinks he is. Because of this, we have a lot more freedom to do almost any type of jump. The big thing is you can't walk or stand still for too long or we'll actually drop the Chucky, which is why when we get back to the star, we are kicking to this rotating platform and using it to change our angle. Finally, we can triple jump to the final platform and jump to the end, where we can just throw the Chucky and clip to the star area and grab another star. The next Chucky glitch and star we will be talking about is a Chucky Bounce, and this star personally is my second favorite in the game. This star takes a bit to get started, but you can see where it is going soon after. We work our way to the top of this giant pillar of water. However, once we swim down there, we'll see something somewhat familiar to Mario 64 speedrunners, which is an up warp involving water. Whenever you land in a body of water, it automatically teleports you to the top. This is also true for getting grabbed by a Chucky within water. So we get grabbed by the Chucky at the bottom, and we instantly get teleported to the top. And something is a little different here. Where's Mario? Well, we're gonna have to wait and see, but for now, we carefully navigate around these platforms while invisible, hoping not to accidentally walk off the edge. And just like that, Mario is where he was grabbed by the Chucky. And that's the important part of what's about to happen. Chuckies have an activation range where they are actually rendered and physically in the game. When we go outside of that range, they are unrendered and don't affect us. Which is why we don't get thrown after we've teleported to the top of the water, because we are outside of his activation range. Not getting thrown is also why Mario's model is still down there, even though we're controlling Invisible Mario at the moment. To finish off this star, we actually long jump into the Chucky's activation range. This will cause the Chucky to activate and finish throwing our body. That throw gives us what looks like a midair bounce, hence the name Chucky Bounce. It bounces us just far enough to hit the wall kicks at the end of the corridor and be able to finish off this star. And just like that, there's one more Chucky star to go, the Chucky Warp. This starts off the exact same way as the last star, and where we trigger the Invisible Mario. However, this time we go a different direction to trigger a different sort of glitch. We do a little harder navigation than last time, with wall kicks and big jumps over a bottomless abyss, all while Mario is still invisible to get to this lovely switch. You can see this switch triggers boxes all the way over there, but it's really not possible to get back there the same way we came from by the time the boxes disappear. Luckily, there's this convenient box with a Chucky in it. We get grabbed by this Chucky, and when it releases us, it actually releases us where the first Chucky would have. So it's causing us to get another water up warp just in time to get on the boxes and to get the star. The final star I want to talk about in this video is finally in a different course, Shroom Swamp. And the star I'm going to talk about is Crazy Leaps Across the Swamp. As you may expect, this star does involve using the Crazy Box. So we start out by searching the course for the Crazy Box, and then see in the distance there is just a pond, a little batch of water. So we go ahead and see what happens when we get in there, and it turns out when the Crazy Box goes in water, it does not break. And in fact, it resets the jump, so you can jump out and start the 1, 2, 3 hop again. And in fact, you can even time it where if you start jumping before the animation starts, you can move with the Crazy Box. This actually did inspire me to get a vanilla Mario 64 star using the Crazy Box. It is pretty convoluted with how you have to bounce to get into the water, but it works pretty well for trying a breezeless strat in Tall Mountain. But anyway, after we start moving with the Crazy Box, we get to these switches that we have one jump or we'll fall in the quicksand. Yet again, we leap over and find some more water. Find the other switch at the end, but this time we have to carefully land on the side so Mario can start doing the bounce animation again. And that actually does finally work, and we can take the box to the end of this little wood platform and bounce off the giant tree and get the star. And those are all the stars I wanted to talk about in this video. You really don't see stars like that in many other Kaizos. Senseless Delirium stars are technically difficult to perform, but generally short, and show off Mario mechanics you rarely see. I could go on and on about almost every star in this game, and I actually would love to explain some more stars in this game to you, but for now, I'll leave you here. Thank you all for watching, and until next time.